Real business, real people, real stories. Welcome to Real Business Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Benenati. Hello and welcome to episode 109. Today I sit with Christine Rizzo. She's a women's life coach and author. Her book is called Unleash Your Inner Goddess. She shares with us the reason why she became a coach and how she was saved by it. Now she's a very happy woman. She wrote a book and is living the life she deserves. Here she is. Christine Rizzo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually really good. I'm happy. We're back to normal, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, happy is good.
And, business is back to normal. Time.
I know. And
yes.
I'm loving that, like, less people are wearing masks and stuff, so it's nice to see.
Their faces.
Yes. It's nice to see those beautiful faces again.
Christine, so let us know a little bit about who Mrs. Rizzo is. Where you from? What you do?
Okay, well, I'm originally from New York, and I am a certified mindset coach and an author. Now.
Yeah, congratulations on your book.
Thank you
Amazing.
So much.
Unleash Your Inner Goddess.
Yes. Start living the life you deserve. Everybody deserves to live an amazing life, and everyone can have that if they learn how to.
Yeah. So, I'm going to ask you what the book is about, but what impressed me is that you wrote the book in 30 days, something like that?
Oh,
no.
No? No. I wrote the book in 5 weeks during COVID-19.
Okay. Instead of 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Yeah, it was 5 weeks during COVID.
That's impressive. I mean, I know people that it takes them a year to write a book or more. So I felt like we had so much time since we were quarantined. So it was just like, this is the time to do it. I knew that I wanted to write a book. That was on my goals chart from the beginning of the year. And I knew once I became certified as a life coach that was definitely one of my goals that I wanted to do. So this was the best opportunity for me. We're quarantined. Let's do it. And I did. And you only coach women, correct?
Correct. I mean, I have coached men, but mainly women, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what is the book about?
So the book is about learning that we do have the power within us. So our inner goddess, which is actually our intuition, when we learn to listen to our intuition and we learn that all of our thinking creates our reality, I teach you the amount of power that you have within yourself to create whatever it is that you want in your life. And everyone deserves to have whatever they want in their life. And that's what I teach them. So I have these fun exercises. My book happens to be there is a lot of humor in it, and it can be a bit sassy with some sentence enhancers that I call them, which some people would say they are curse words, but I call them sentence enhancers. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great book, but it does teach you how you can create the life that you deserve.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
And it's coming out in July?
July, yes. So right now I just got the first edit back the other day, and it will be going back into editing within this week, the second editing, and then it will be done.
All right, excellent.
Yes.
All right, so you're originally from New York?
Yes.
Long Island?
Long Island.
And you've been here in Orlando, Florida since?
I've been in Orlando right after 9/11 happened. A year later, after my oldest one was born, we moved down. So 17 years about. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell us, I want to know a little bit about your routine and habits. You're a coach, so you most likely you have routine and habits, I don't know, journaling or...
I do.
What do you have?
I do. So after I wake up, I go and grab a cup of coffee, and then I always sit on my couch and write in my book of affirmations. I mean, not my book of affirmations, in my book of gratitudes, I write 3 gratitudes every day of what I'm thankful for.
because it's really important to be thankful in our life for what we're given. And so then after I write my gratitudes, I go, well, that's not true. I do surf the net a little bit, I have to say.
Oh, you do? Everybody does. That's fine.
So I got to check out the phone,
It makes you human, yeah.
Yes, surf the net a tiny bit. And then I go and meditate for about 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes I don't get past 20 minutes. Sometimes I do. It all depends.
How does that look like, your meditations?
Meditation?
Yeah.
Well, so I just go in and listen to, meditative music. I don't do one that someone is talking you through it. I don't like.
It's not a guided meditation.
No, it's not guided. I don't like to hear someone else's voice. It needs to be like total silent with just music. And really what happens is so much of my thought work like comes to me, like things are presented to me during meditation. And I'm very in touch with my spiritual guide. So he speaks to me quite a bit during meditation. And, I connect to source energy, and I really set my intentions for the day of what I want, how I want my day to go.
So you're envisioning your day.
Correct.
Pretty much.
That's so big to do when it comes to what you want in your life, because that's how you create it, by envisioning it and having it, come to you.
So I was looking through your website, and I found a blog that says, "Holy crap, I can't believe it." Right?
Yes.
And that was the fact that you wrote your book, or you found a publisher or something like that?
Yes, that I hired a publisher.
Right.
So that it was shocking to me that, it happened so quickly. And I knew that was brought to me. The publishers were like brought to me because I wanted that. Like I manifested that, and they were brought to me. And then, we talked about it, and they were like, yeah,
right,
we'll hire you. So it was just an amazing feeling to be able to have your book like being published, writing. And that's when, like, once they hired me, they were like, okay, you can take as long as you want, but we're having our retreat this weekend. And that's when I had 5 weeks. And I made sure, like, I went into it knowing I'm not going to go to this retreat and have to write the book. Like, I wanted it all finished. And so that's why it took me the 5 weeks.
How many hours a day were you writing?
Oh my gosh. Like, I would be stuck in my room in the office for like hours. There were times that I would wake up in the middle of the night, because a lot of times the really good, information that I knew needed to go into the book would come to me in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m. So there were times I'd wake up at 2 a.m.
and go write?
And either, record on my phone. Like, I'd have to wake up and try to talk. It didn't work very often. So I would get up and then go into my office and start writing. And I would write for the whole rest of the day. Maybe, go back in and take a nap and then get back up. But yeah, I was up for hours. I was exhausted. So by the time we had the retreat from the publishing company, I could hardly function because I was so exhausted for writing for 5 weeks. And yeah.
So what got you into coaching?
Well, so I was going through a divorce, and it was not a great one. And I knew that there was a lot of, anger in the divorce.
On both parts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'd blame him for everything, and I blamed him for, like my life being not happy and blah, 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 right? Of course, what most people do. And I realized, like, I am not happy. This is not right. Like, this is not who I really am. And I lived that way for, the 16 years that we were married. I mean, yeah, we had happy times and stuff, but for the most part, it wasn't a really happy marriage. And I just knew that things had to change, and that's when I hired a life coach. And thankfully, she helped me get through so much of my divorce, because it lasted for longer than it should have. Right. And then I knew, like, I always wanted to, years ago, be like a counselor, a therapist. But when I hired a life coach, knowing that life coaches, they don't really dwell in your past at all. They get you from where you are today to where you want to be in life. So it's really about your goals, and they just help guide you to get you there.
They redirect you from where you are
Exactly.
to where you want to be.
And they teach you, like, your thinking really does create your reality. And so I had so much to learn, and I hired her, and that's when I knew, like, I want to do this. Like, I want to help people. I want to be there for people and get them to where they want to be. I want to empower women.
You went through it.
Yeah, I went through it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what made me decide to become a life coach.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what are your crazy hobbies, if you have any?
Crazy. Well, it's not really, I mean, it's not crazy, but I do make, I hand paint rocks, because when I go and work out, I go walking every day. I do that after meditation, actually. I go walking, and I always take one of my hand painted rocks and I leave them they're like rocks of inspiration with inspirational words on them, and I leave them in little spots for people to take.
So you don't know who's going to find it?
Oh no, I have no idea.
Okay, so I have my little rock here. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And it says unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Why unstoppable?
Well, because I feel that you in your careers, I should say, not even career, that you are unstoppable and you're going to get to where you want to be in life. So that's why I made that rock for you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's going to work where I'm leading on to now. And going back to that blog, the Holy Crap, I Can't Believe It, about the book, and I was looking at that, you have an image there. And in that picture, on that photo, if you look to the top right-hand corner, you have a vision board.
Yes.
Right? Tell us a little bit about that. I assume you do that. Do you do that with your clients as well?
I do. That's actually a homework assignment that I have my clients do in during one of their sessions, for homework. But a vision board is like super important because it gives you the ability to visualize what you want in your life. So it's, you can go on Pinterest, or you could just, cut out pictures from magazines. Not that many people read magazines today, but so.
E-magazines.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you just cut out the things that like you want in your life, and you put it on your vision board, and you look at it like for so many minutes a day. Like I'll just stop and stare at it for like 5-10 minutes, and you'll visualize yourself in that house, or you visualize, if you love to travel, like that you're there traveling with whoever, and you're shopping in Italy, or whatever you want to put on your vision board. And then eventually what happens is your subconscious will take that in, and you wind up creating that for yourself. And as I create whatever it is that I've wanted, like I will take the pieces of the photos down, and I'll replace them.
As you accomplish those
Correct,
photos.
Yeah.
I know it works for me, and I used to, and I say I used to because I used to do it with my daughters. Every Christmas, every New Year's, actually, we would do it for the year and then revisit back in Christmas. And I started when they were about 10 years old, and I did it for a couple of years, and we just, I'm guilty of it. We got so much going on that I haven't taken the time and do it again with them. But I do it myself in different ways. So I use my phone screen, as a vision board because I'm walking around with it all day. Now that I have this rock saying unstoppable, it's definitely going to sit on my desk, and it's just going to, every time I look at it, it's just going to put that burst of energy in me to just keep going.
It's going to motivate you.
It's going to motivate you.
Exactly. And that's what vision boards do too, right?
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's super important, I feel, to do. Just like a goals chart. Like my husband and I, every beginning of the year, we write a goals chart of everything that he wants to do for the year, and I write everything I want to do, and then we write everything we want to do together. And each time you look at the chart, you get to like cross off what you've accomplished. So like I've already accomplished, signing how many clients that I wanted to within the year, or I was able to cross off that I wrote a book. and I'm having it published. Like, I was able to cross that off. It's so
empowering.
But
that's a business side in you, right? Is that something you also help with in your coaching? If a woman has a business but also needs help in life, is this something you put together, you merge, and you make it happen?
Oh, yeah.
You work with?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many different topics that we go over during my program. So we'll
like what?
So we'll start with, like, where are you today and where do you want to be? And so we start with where they are today and what thoughts will you need to start changing, because the thoughts that you're having today is why you are where you are today.
Changing or creating, because some people don't even have thoughts. They don't have a plan. They don't have a direction.
So we'll get them to where their goals are. Like, we'll talk about what are your goals, where do you want to be, and then I teach them that for you to get to that goal, you need to start thinking differently, okay? So you can create that in your life, because where you are today is because of the thoughts that you're having right now, like today, and that's why you are there. But if you want to get further down, or like you want to get to a certain goal, you have to start changing your thinking so you can create that, because all of your thoughts create your reality. But then we go over like lovability, like self-love. We go over relationships. We go over money. We go over connection. There's so many. We go over learning how to deliberately create the things that you want in your life. There's so many things, so many topics that we go over.
How long is your coaching or your course?
It's 4 months, so it's 16 weeks.
16 weeks.
Oh, yeah. And there are times that your client will come in and they're going through whatever it is that they're going through, like say something that, they're going through in their life that you're not actually teaching the lesson. So it's just listening to them and getting them through what they're going through and coaching them on what they're exactly going through at that moment. So it's not always about teaching.
What's your opinion, or let us know what you think of when people tell you, well, I don't need a coach, or
I think we all need coaches. I have a coach. So as a coach, I have a coach that I see weekly. So I think that it's, we're held accountable with a coach, and we're able to see things that your friends can't see. Like when you go to...
That's and I'm glad you touched right on that spot, because for me, a coach is like, if you play golf and you have a golf coach, he's standing behind you, watching what your stance is, how you grip the club, and how you swing, and if you follow through or not, and something we can't see within ourselves. Right. So a life coach pretty much does that. Let me see the way you run your day today, your way of thinking.
Right, it's your way of thinking. It's helping. We're cleaning out. Right, we're clean. It's kind of like, having a cleaning person at your house, but you have to keep your house clean or whatever. Maybe you don't have a cleaning person, but you do need to clean your house. It's cleaning out your mind. It's teaching our clients to clean out your mind.
Unclutter.
Exactly. And there's always so much going on in our head, because we're thinking thousands and thousands of thoughts per day. And most of those thoughts of ours, 95% of those thoughts
are negative.
Well, not only that, but they're not even true.
It's a monkey mind. We're just...
So we think they're true,
no. But
they're not. So
we start believing they're true because we keep repeating it.
Well, that's where beliefs come in. It's a sentence that keeps being repeated over and over, becomes a belief of yours. And many of those beliefs don't serve us. So we believe, most of us get our beliefs from our parents. This is all in the book.
It's all in the book?
Yeah, all of it, yeah. So most of our beliefs come from our parents, and, that's why we're so fucked up.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that those aren't true. They had no idea that they weren't true. They were taught by their parents.
Right.
So it's not that they had any idea, because of course they only want what's best for us. But most of those beliefs that we carry and hold on to, like, if here's a belief that if you don't believe in God or Jesus, you're going to hell. Now, some people will totally believe that, but there are other religions that don't believe that at all. And to me, God is from love, but but anyway, those are just beliefs, or a belief that a rabbit every year on Easter is going to bring you a basket full of candy. Now, we were taught that as little kids, and of course, why would we think our parents would lie to us, right?
Right.
But of course, we realize later on as we grow up. But these are just beliefs that, there's so many beliefs that we believe that aren't even real. I can get so into it, but you'll find it in the book.
And I think that's the foundation of belief, is clearing out those negative thoughts, or those unreal or untrue.
Untrue. There's so many untrue beliefs that we wind up holding on to. Like if you were told by your dad that you weren't smart enough, you're going to wind up believing that when you're younger.
That you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're told over and over again, you're not smart enough, you're not smart enough, you're not smart enough, or you're never going to get into this college, or whatever it is, you're going to wind up believing that.
That's why I tell my daughters, you have to be very careful who you hang around with and what you listen to.
Yes.
Is it, whatever it is, music, social media, because they don't know. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. They'll just see it and believe it and take it as real.
Well, and also too, like teenagers, their brains are not fully developed until their early 20s. So that's why they're so they're living inevitably. Like they just think like that nothing can ever happen to them, right? They're superheroes.
Lack of experience in life.
And because their brains aren't fully developed, so they're only running on their subconscious. The conscious brain is fully develops in your 20s. So the conscious part of your brain. So they're just running on their subconscious, which believes anything they're told. That's what the subconscious believes, anything that is told. And that is hugely why affirmations are so important to say, because even though you don't believe it right now, if you keep saying it over and over and over to yourself, your subconscious will believe it, because it doesn't know what's right or wrong. It doesn't know what's true or not.
So, ladies, if you're listening, you have to pick up the book, Unleash Your Inner Goddess, by Christine Rizzo. Christine, talking about beliefs and so forth, what do you fear? If you fear anything, what would it be?
Well, I'd have to say I'm much more fearful of heights than I ever used to be since having kids. Maybe it's because, are you going to... Not that I'm not scared to die, but do I want to die right now with my kids?
And leave your kids?
Right.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not. But so that, I remember going parasailing not long ago, and I was like, I didn't have the control of the boat and the parasail, right? So I was just stuck up parasailing, and I was freaking out. I was like, just
because of the height, or because you didn't have control? Probably
both.
Okay.
Probably because I didn't have the control of the boat, and I didn't have control of how high I was going. Like it was scary. But I love roller coasters. Like that I'm not scared of. Go figure, right?
Funny, yeah.
I know, it's a little weird. I know.
What's something non-negotiable for you in your life?
I would have to say negativity. So any type of negative stories, the news. I never watch the news ever. I have not watched the news for, I can't even, years and years and years. Negative posts, just any type of, negative surroundings, I will just distance myself and walk away. I do not want to be around it, because really when that starts to get into your mind, then you start to question life, and you start getting upset and scared, and oh my gosh, you're not trusting that the universe has your back, that the universe only wants good for you, that you are the creator. You start worrying because you don't have the control over what's happening. So it starts to freak you out. I don't want to be around it.
What has been the hardest decision you've ever made?
Probably to leave my marriage, just because of the girls. It was hard, but I knew I had to, because I wasn't happy, and I wasn't happy with myself. And I knew too that once I did hire a coach, I realized that it wasn't just, it wasn't my ex-husband fully. Mm-hmm. It was both of us. We both, contributed to the anger in that relationship. But once I hired a coach, I realized how much work I needed to do on myself. And I'm glad that I got divorced, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be who I am today. So it's all good.
All right. Now, realizing this, what would you improve about yourself?
I would have to say I still need to work on my control. So there are times that I still want to control certain situations, mm-hmm. and I know I can't. So it's really learning to fully allow. And I wrote that. It's in my book, and I'm still learning. I'm still growing. We all are. And that's just something that I still need to continue working on.
So what would you say makes you different? There's so many coaches out there, right? What sets you apart from everyone else?
Okay. Well, I don't really know how other people coach. I know how I coach.
Okay.
And I know what I bring to the table. And I know the passion that I have in my coaching. I only want my clients to succeed. And I'm there for them I give them the tools that I know that work, because I've used them myself, and I've changed dramatically from who I used to be. I wasn't always happy. So,
are you happy now?
Oh, I'm so happy. Yes. So I know that I have the ability to get them to where they want to be in life. And I love my clients, and it shows. It shows. Mm-hmm.
What's been your toughest client, or have you fired or released a client because he or she, well, she probably, did not want to be helped? I don't know.
Yeah, I did have one client that I've had to let go. We worked together for a few months, but she just really didn't want to put the work into herself. And they're not helping me by coming to me and not working on themselves. This is not for me. Coaching is not for me. When I'm coaching my client, it's not for me. Mm-hmm. It's for them. And I had to tell her, listen, if you're not going to do the work, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting my time. And I want you have to be ready. As a client, you have to be ready to invest in yourself. If you're not ready, if your mind, it doesn't want to put in the work, then there's no sense in hiring a coach. You have to really want to work on yourself, because you are going to see a huge difference, but you have to want to do it.
So how someone like that came to you? Right?
She wanted to do the work.
She wanted, and then what? Because
it got hard, and that's what happens. Because what happens is when you start from where you are, and then we go over the goal that you want to get to. It's called the river of misery, from where you are today to who you want to be. Mm-hmm. And when you go through that river of misery, you're going to go through some hard times. You're going to go through some pain, because you're changing, and your brain doesn't want to believe what you're trying to tell it. Your brain doesn't want to do the work. So, because it wants to stay comfortable where it's always been. So that's where the hard work comes in. And it's your ego, really, which I call your inner mean girl. She doesn't want you to change. She wants to stay that inner child that she has always known, what you've believed. She doesn't want you to change because it's uncomfortable. Change is not it's not always fun. It is uncomfortable. And you have to start learning to think differently.
But change is constant. So how do you handle that?
Change is constant. But you know how many people don't want to change and they just stay where they are, miserable, right? They're miserable, or they're just sitting watching. They'll take their, like, knowing that they're not happy, they'll go and put it on outside pleasures, like going shopping, buying different houses. That's what I did. I did that for years. We would buy and build new houses. We built 5 in my marriage because I was so unhappy, and I just wanted.
You thought that was going to make you happy?
Well, it was making me happy at the time because I was like, ooh, we can buy new furniture, we can redo the house. So it made me happy for a limited time, but that's what happens.
That's not true happiness.
No, true happiness is from within. And that's what I teach with coaching, right? But so many people, they don't want to do the work of really figuring out who they are and learning how to fully love themselves.
I don't think people really truly understand what self-love is. You know, people look for the external for that love or for that happiness.
Yes.
And it could be anything. It could be, you know, drugs, sex, gambling, alcohol, buying 5 houses. It could be anything, you know. Yes. Shopping, you know.
Shopping, yes.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one.
Right? And then now look at all the damage it does, you know. You're not happy. You think the external it is. You go shopping. You spend money that you don't have, and you're still not happy. And then you go shop again thinking that's going to help. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a vicious cycle.
Yes.
And you just have to be happy with yourself. And, I mean, it's easier said than done, obviously. But I think that's the key.
It is the key. It really is the key. And it's like you said, it's easier said than done. It is hard for clients, especially when they have not ever known to love themselves, right? I mean, we don't know what's happened in their past as kids, or, you know, what they've been through, and to learn to fully love yourself, it takes a lot. And it's just, and that's why we have a huge, like, during my program, we'll go over, like, really learning to self-love for a few sessions. And it's constant work, constant affirmations, constant, you know, like, learning that what you're hearing in your head is just lies about yourself. It's just all lies.
I think that's where gratitude comes in play.
Yeah.
I started my gratitude several years ago, my gratitude book, and I started with 3. And it was, honestly, it was somewhat hard at the beginning. You know, not the first day, not the second day, right? But doing it every day, you were kind of, or at least I thought I was running out of why to be grateful, right?
Right.
And it got to the point where it was even the simple things, you know, there was days I was just grateful for that cup of coffee I had.
That's right.
In that moment, you know, and then things would happen, or I would hear things on the news, or, you know, whatever, and I would be grateful that that's not happening to me, to my family, or, you know, health and business. And I mean, there's so much you could be grateful for when you start digging in, that at this point I just upped it to 10 per day.
Good for you. That's amazing.
You know, and you would say, how could you be grateful for that? Well, you'll find it, and it just becomes, and then when you realize all the things you should be grateful for, then you could be happy, because none of that I write is actually money. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be business. You know, my business is doing well, or, you know, things like that. But it's not the money per se. It's the little things. You know, and that's when I started becoming happier with myself, and I wasn't worried about anyone else or anything else, or I wasn't comparing myself. I think that's the other thing. You know, social media, you see pictures and you see this and you see that, and now you start comparing their life or the perception of that life with yours. Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's your life is a perception of what you see out in the world, right? So, like, what you're seeing becomes your reality, or what you're thinking.
So what you're seeing about that on social media is your perception of reality about them. right? So for you, you were like, oh, they're I don't know, they're driving like this, they're dressing like that, they're vacationing here and there.
Well, you could think that, but someone else might think totally differently.
Right. So now going back to mind setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about in vision boards and changing thoughts, right? That's
Yes,
where we're going back with
that's
the
what
coaching, is actually now visualizing that same life or image that you're seeing on social media. See it in your mind for yourself.
Right. That's if you want that, right? It's all about what you want in life. Not everybody wants to have the sports car. Not everybody wants to. Meanwhile, I'm like, go fucking big, man. If you can do it, why wouldn't you go big?
Why
like,
not?
Go get whatever you want, because we're meant to live abundantly. We're meant to enjoy and have whatever it is we want. I mean, that's, the universe and God, that's what they want for us. It's all about like not that that's what just brings you happiness, of course, because it's really within. It's really, that's about learning to, so when it comes to vision board, that's about learning that you can create and attract whatever it is you want in your life, right? That's about that. When it's about like self-love, like you were saying your gratitudes and affirmations are huge for self-love. Mm-hmm. Realizing what am I really truly thankful for? Like, I have so much to be thankful for. And when you put that out into the universe and you're grateful for whatever it is that you are, your past, your present, your future, anything, everything, you will get more of that back. Always. You will always get, because what you put out, you always get back. What you give, you get.
No.
That's just like, we're all one. How you treat another person, you're really treating yourself that way.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so important. Like when you have, like if you see someone and you have like maybe a little negative, because, listen, we're all human.
Right.
I mean,
and we have bad days.
Yeah, and we have bad days. And sometimes you're just going to go, you might go through, seeing someone that you didn't like for years, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, but I'm forgiving everybody. That's another huge thing that we talk about. Forgiveness is huge.
Letting go.
Letting go. You cannot move forward without forgiving. You cannot get to where you want to be without forgiving.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But I was just saying that you may see someone that you don't like and say, a little, maybe a bad thought comes into your head. Just remember, when you're thinking that thought, you're really thinking that about yourself, because we are all one, and how we treat other people, that will come back to us. We're treating ourselves that way.
Do you have a funny story about something with your clients or anything that you could share? I know there's probably something that's confidential, but is there?
Yeah, most of my clients, everything is confidential. You will, if you want to hear funny stories, they're in my book. You're going to hear some funny stories, and it's not about my clients, it's more about me. So like, if you get the book, you buy the book, it's lots of funny stories in there.
All right. Where can the listeners look you up, find you, if they want to reach out to you?
Okay, so if you would like to reach out to me, you can call me, text me.
You can share your number if you like.
I will share my number. It's 407-489-3986. You can leave me a message. I will immediately get back to you when I can. And or you can leave me a text. Also, you can reach me on my website at christinerizzo.com. You can either leave a message there and I'll get back to you, with your email. Or you could schedule a 30-minute consult. It's a free consult where I can get to know you better and we can talk about if I'm the right coach for you. Mm-hmm. And then also, too, you can contact me on Facebook at Christine.Rizzo-Davy. So it's Rizzodavi. That's Christine.Rizzo-Davy. Or on Instagram, Christine Rizzo 444.
444.
Oh, that is my number.
That's your number?
Yes. Well, that is my number. Yes, that's my love number with Frank. Like we saw that for years and years before we got together.
And then when we got together and we spent, so just so everyone knows, Frank and I have known each other since kindergarten, and we went all the way through high school.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So we've known each other since kindergarten, went all the way through high school, and then we didn't date in high school or anything. We were just good friends. I mean, I always thought he was super cute. And then he went his way, I went my way. We both got married. We both got divorced. And then I contacted him through Facebook. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Through Facebook, just to see if he was ever in Manhattan or if he ever takes trips to Florida. And he right away was like, yes, let's, So I fell in love with him over the phone because we only talked over the phone. And we fell in love for a few months, and then we met in New York together, and we saw 444 all over. So it was, but I was seeing that number way before him. So it was
you didn't realize it?
No, I knew. I was like, okay, I'm always seeing this number. Why? During like a time 444, or like on a license plate, or like an address building, whatever it was. And I didn't understand where it was coming from. And then he was like, when we saw it together, he was like, I see that all the time. And I was like, me too. And then we realized it was like our connection together. And now when I see it, I know it's like the love between us. So
you're the second person on my podcast about the 444 number. She was a female. Her license plate is actually 444. And she was telling me it was something with angels, numbers, and that you are on track to something. Meaning that when you're planning on doing something or thinking of something, and all of a sudden you see that number, it's confirmation that you're on track to whatever it is you want to do.
Yes, it's true. It is. It's
like a green light. Like,
yes,
go ahead, do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I know whenever I see that number, like that's just Frank and I are. Yeah, it's amazing. Like but I do also see 44. So 44 is my spiritual guide that keeps he shows me that number to show me that he's with me and that I'm safe and all that stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, Christine, congratulations again on your book.
Thank you.
Unleash
Thank you.
Your Inner Goddess. I hope that the listeners, the female listeners, reach out to you. I think everybody deserves to have a coach, or should have a coach, at least at a certain point of their lives, and not forever, but at least to get to where they want to be.
Yes, it makes a huge difference, really, when you realize like how things, what you were like in your past, or how you've been, or maybe if you're not happy, and then to hire a coach and to get you to where you want to be. It's just, it's really
I always fall
incredible.
back to Michael Jordan was the best player in the world, and he had 3 coaches. I mean, you would think if he's so good, why he needs a coach, and that's why he was so good.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a mindset, and that's in my book too.
Oh yeah.
Not Michael Jordan, but it is about that athletes hire coaches for that reason, because they envision where they want to be and them playing the game. It's not just a coach about basketball or about football, right? The physical. It's the mental. So really, it's about training the brain.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I enjoy having you on the podcast. I hope to have you back in the near future.
Yes.
And maybe we could go over something else about your book, and because it's coming out in July, so I want to see how that goes out and see what you're up to.
I would love it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. If you like the topic in today's episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on iTunes or visit Real Business Podcast for more information. Thank you. Until next week, stay real.